most of you know, I live in New York, and this past week, Digital Asset Summit, alongside a couple of other institutional conferences, happened in New York City. And one company that I guess spurred up a little bit more attention, alongside others, was Canton or Canton Network. Now, if you ask me, if we assume that crypto is like this Trojan horse kind of being wheeled into this house of finance, Canton Network isn't the Trojan horse. There's actually another Trojan horse within that Trojan horse being wheeled into the house of finance. And on the outside, everyone thinks, oh shit, okay, that's DeFi coming to become the rails of TradFi. But within that Trojan horse, the Canton Trojan horse, it's actually more TradFi. So once that Trojan horse gets in and we're all cheering on like, yeah, DeFi is finally taking over the rails of TradFi, well, turns out it's actually all owned by TradFi, and there's no difference. Now, this is all my opinion. This is, of course, feel free to educate me more in the comments if you'd like. Did a little research before this. My understanding is that Canton Network is pretty much a blockchain of blockchains, or a network of networks is, I guess, how they describe themselves. Every app, which could be like an institution, a bank, something finance related, is its own ledger, its own blockchain, and the Canton Network itself kind of orchestrates the interaction between all of them, right? I kind of think of like app chains with its own coordination layer. That's my understanding. To be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as most people will be concerned as well, it's more or less just a blockchain with apps on it. But there's multiple levels to the ledgers that live there. I digress. I just wanted to make sure that people know that I know a little bit about it, a tiny bit. I also know enough to know that we should not be tricked into rebuilding the same system that we have today, but in a lens that make it feels like we won. My understanding is that it's not permissionless to use the Canton Network. As in, yes, you can have your own apps and you can allow them to be public or private, what have you. The problem is that, by default, it's not open to build on, is my problem, number one. The whole idea of a permissionless financial system is that you don't need anyone's permission to use it to begin with. Obviously, if you're building an app or something like that, and you want to kind of gate who's using your own app, okay, that's fine, I guess. If you want the ability to do that, that's fine. But the network itself, from my understanding, you do need to get permission to actually build on it to begin with. And again, it's not like, for example, how you have like an Arbitrum one, which is public, open permissionless, the flagship, and then you have like a Robinhood chain, which it's still open and permissionless for you to build on it, testnet, most likely mainnet as well. Like all are open and permissionless for you to build on. But even if there wasn't one to come and say, hey, we want to be permissioned, whatever. It's not like that, where it's like you at least have the flagship, and then you have another piece, another institution maybe building on it and adding their own customizations to it. The entire thing by default, as far as I'm concerned, is permission. Again, I'm happy to be proved wrong if that's the case. But also, like, the fact that the data is also private doesn't help. That's the whole point of crypto, transparency. Like, if you want, I think private blockchains do serve a purpose. I think private, having people's information private is important, depending on what you're using, especially if you're working with sensitive data. But up to a certain extent, and my problem with Canton is that it just seems like, especially considering it's actually backed by most of the institutions that are using it to begin with, it doesn't seem like we're getting anything different if they win. So I don't know. I just saw some news about them kind of, adding more. They call them, I think they're called super validators to their network. And I think it was like big institutions are actually coming on and validating their network of sorts. Apparently they reset their DevNet every once in a while. They have their, to use a testnet, you have to be approved for mainnet, which requires approval from a super validator. You need to apparently share your IP with them or something like that. And you can verify all of what I'm saying, please. But it's just like, again, what are we doing here? If that's what we're allowing to win, what are we doing here? The whole idea is that you can use an Arbitrum, you can use an Ethereum, you can use a permissionless chain in tandem with these institutions, and they're almost obligated or they're almost incentivized to compete at this open permissionless layer with other institutions by providing the best opportunities for people, while also obviously remaining open for people to use, to benefit from, etc. I've been in crypto for a long time, and I've thought about the different kind of philosophies that crypto talks about, and what I care about the most. Decentralization is incredibly important. The whole idea of having your code and stuff like that open is also very important. I think my most valuable property in crypto, the one I value the most, is permissionlessness, the ability to use something without anyone's permission. And a good example, as most of you probably know, is like Aave, stuff like that, like Uniswap, any DeFi app you can think of. Now, again, not every app will be permissionless, unfortunately. When all these big institutions come on chain, I don't think you can expect to have all of them be permissionless, unfortunately. But there is that standard that they will be pressured to meet, and that's one thing that I don't know. Like when I see things like Canton, or I'm sure there are other networks trying to do the same thing. It's like none of this stuff is DeFi native. None of this stuff is crypto native. It's literally just finance TradFi on a blockchain, but like their own blockchain with zero crypto native values. And I say crypto native values, but what I mean is stuff that benefits the end user, not just the institution. I don't know. It's just, again, I realized it was Digital Asset Summit. All of traditional finance was there. People were even arguing that like MEV inherently is fucking terrible. When like in DeFi, and something about like if DeFi wants to get adoption, then it needs to be eliminated. Like, brother, MEV exists in TradFi, and it's fucking sorry, and it's terrible. It's like actually really bad, and it's usually just the institutions behind the MEV in that case. So, I don't know, man. The hypocrisy is crazy to me, and the only hope I have is that we just don't fall into the same crap that we have right now, but they own it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Is Canton good? Is it not? And if you guys want me to kind of give my take on other blockchains, let me know. Someone asked me about ICP. I don't know enough about it yet. Honestly, like I kind of want to reserve the combos for stuff that people are like broadly interested in. So if a lot of you are interested in ICP, I'm happy to talk a little bit about that or anything else. Again, like I think there's a place for TradFi and DeFi to merge, and for really DeFi to be like, or blockchain to be the rails for finance. But like it's got to make sense. If they're running their own blockchain, and the entire thing is permissioned from front to back, you can't see anything. It's all behind closed doors. There's no data available. Like you need to sign up to use it to begin with. You need to give them your information, your IP, your this, your that. What are we doing? Like literally, what are we doing? Let me know what you guys think. Peace.